dating app designed for driven and ambitious people that want to find a partner with those same traits. So we try to match people based on more than just looks.
Okay, so what separates you from other apps that are on the market at the moment?
So we have a lot more information about our users. So we collect Facebook, we collect LinkedIn, and then we also obviously can collect data that happens within the app. So we can see what groups people join, what events they RSVP to. So we have a lot more kind of comprehensive information about a user, and therefore we feel like we can match them most effectively because of that kind of full data set that we have that other apps don't have.
So what's the technology behind the kind of matching process?
Yeah, so what's cool is because we use LinkedIn, we have like one of the best data sets you can have on education, on profession, and on kind of the profession trajectory. So because of that, we can start to see some interesting trends around, do doctors like to date other doctors, and do people in the health and fitness industry tend to match with each other? And we actually notice, we see these things when we run regressions on who's matching and who's converting successfully, and then we put that into our algorithm. So we can look at industry that you're in, and that we found that that's actually a pretty statistically significant variable to match people on. So profession's a huge one, education institution is huge. People with like PhDs tend to match with other PhDs. It's just we've noticed that even when we don't put that into the algorithm. And so because of that, we kind of have a lot more data to work with, and therefore the matching algorithm is much more advanced and sophisticated than some of these other apps where you just swipe a million people, and if you both think each other are hot, you match. And we're looking at a lot more than that, and because we only give you 3 to 5 people a day, we have to be very good at the algorithm part. So we need that like pretty robust data set to be able to, if we're only going to give you 3 girls, they need to be 3 girls that you're excited about and interested in, or else you're going to leave the app, right? So our stakes are a lot higher than, like, let's say a Bumble or a Tinder or something like that.
Okay. Any success stories? Any marriages?
We've actually had a lot. It's interesting. I think the league, we don't have awesome data on this because we still are trying to figure out how to kind of close the loop on feedback. But we have had quite a few marriages. We've had league babies already. So and anecdotally, if you send out surveys to our users, like everyone says they're on a bunch of apps. We're not trying to say that our users are only on the league, but most people will say in surveys, and just when you talk to them, you're welcome to go talk to people downstairs, that the league is kind of where their like real matches are, and everything else a little bit practice, but people are on their best behavior on the league. They're really like trying, because I think we have this brand that this is where your future life partner is you're probably going to find them in it. And I think that's evident in the number of people that exchange phone numbers and actually meet up. So we have a very high conversion to offline rate. That's much higher than the other apps that are out there that are just, again, like you can swipe 1,000 people and have 1,000 matches in one day, but that doesn't mean you're going to actually meet them, right?
Okay, and what's the event about tonight?
So our event tonight is a Valentine's Day party. I always say this is Christmas for dating, because this is our our number one holiday, and this is as far as like high season goes in dating, it's basically like December 15th through February 15th is high season. So we wanted to make sure that we were like celebrating this. We just launched 3 cities, so now we're in 6, and we're getting ready for London. So we wanted to kind of celebrate the fact that we're in 6 cities, get everyone excited, and sort of introduce people that like we're more than just this platform, this dating app. I think dating apps kind of have a, people, it's kind of like starting a bar or a restaurant. People are like, oh, another dating app, but we really want to be a technology company that is forward thinking, we're innovative, we want to use, if virtual reality makes sense and is going to help people date more effectively, then we want to be the leader in that space. And so we really want to be the innovator in dating, and I don't think there's anyone there really who's doing that very well. Like, who is the Facebook of dating? Who's the Google of dating? So that's kind of what we're trying to do with these parties, is sort of kind of I wouldn't call it a rebrand, but just sort of remind people that yes, we have an awesome dating app, but we're more than that, and we want to lead you into the future. And even when dating apps aren't here anymore, we still want to be a player in the space.
Okay, and so you mentioned VR, so what's the VR process you're coming?
So I think it's funny because there's a lot of technologies that people talk about with dating. So video is a perfect example. Like, everyone's tried to incorporate video into online dating, and it doesn't work, right? The friction is so high. You have to record a video of yourself, girls especially. We don't want to take videos of ourselves if we don't feel like it's going to represent us super well, right? So I think guys are the same, just people have this friction. So I think what VR can do is sort of we can kind of leapfrog the whole video thing and actually go into VR where it's an avatar that looks just like you, but you can kind of have a first date experience without having to actually go and spend $100 and 2 hours of your time with someone. And I think as much as dating is fun to meet people, I think our generation is getting busier and busier, and we are more and more focused on our jobs and our careers and our friends, and we want, you want to go on good dates, you don't want to go on bad dates. And so I think VR can really help cut down bad dates. If you can kind of do a lot of your pre-qualification in virtual reality, then you can actually meet people for drinks at your dive bar that you have a really high probability of liking. So I just think, if you think about kind of the funnel of dating, I think you can cut out like 2 or 3 steps with virtual reality if it's done well, and if it's done in a way that doesn't kind of freak people out. It's just kind of a cool way. So I don't know if you guys read the kind of script or the context, but I think like having VR parties is kind of an interesting idea, because you can show up if you want to, you don't have to, it's not this one-on-one date, it's sort of cool, and you can kind of meet people, and maybe you don't want to date in your city, maybe you want to date in New York because you're moving there, or you're open to moving there, and so it kind of opens the world of dating up a little bit. And I think, I think, don't get me wrong, I don't think this is going to happen in the next year, but I think it's going to happen, and we want to be ready for it when it does. So we're already starting to kind of figure out how to weave virtual reality into what we're going to offer our users.
That's great. And one last question, where can you see online dating leading? I know you just said VR stuff, in 100 years time, where will online dating be, do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think about it a lot, because obviously dating's changed so much just in 10 years. If you think about it, I did a presentation on the future of dating, and I looked at kind of dating 0.0, where people called you and you had friends that introduced you, and they talked to you on the phone before you saw them, and there were blind dates, and it was so antiquated, right? And in less than 15, 20 years, we're literally swiping to find our soulmate, and we've cut out a ton of those steps. So dating has changed drastically, and I think that it still will. And I think in the future, I think there might not be dating, there might just be matching. You'll know exactly. I think that the trick is figuring out what you want, and I think we'll get better at that as a society, of figuring out, I'm Amanda, and this is the kind of person that I need in my life for X amount of years, and this is sort of what I'm looking for, and using technology to go find someone that can kind of, fill that role, right? It's sort of like hiring. I always say dating is like hiring. It's like, you want someone, you want a co-pilot in your life, and you need to figure out what you want them to have as far as skills or whatever it might be, and go and figure it. And it's a numbers game. Go find them. And you can't just sit and wait you would never sit and wait for a really good COO to come by. You go and recruit, right? So I always tell my friends, I'm like, no, dating is, you need to be dating. You can't sit back and date. Dating is a lean forward situation. So I think in the future, it will be, because of that, it will be less lean forward. You kind of put your information into a machine or technology, and it will say, here's 100 guys in the world that are fit for you, and maybe they're not all in San Francisco, and you kind of can see how picky you're being. You can be like, oh wow, I only have 100 guys in the entire world, I should treat all of them very well, because I don't have a lot of supply. Whereas if you have no preferences and you're just kind of whatever, then maybe your dating is different. And so I think we'll get better at assessing ourselves and assessing who will complement us. So I think personality matching, I think doing things, I actually think there will be some genetic stuff in it, in the sense that can you use genetics to kind of optimize a better match for, they say certain genes are better. This gets a little weird, but there's been some dating startups that claim, I don't totally agree with this, but there are some dating startups that claim things like saliva and smell is a very good indicator for compatibility. And if, I don't even need to meet you, but if so that's a perfect example. That's a deep genetic thing that comes out through a smell. And if we could figure out how to kind of codify that, and if that's true, who knows? But I think in the future we'll get better at knowing sort of the science behind compatibility, and I think we'll be able to match. And so I think the future of dating is more matching and less dating. And you date, in dating should be kind of meeting people that you're going to match with, but and kind of enjoying that process. So I guess I see the future as there's no bad dates in the future. That's that would be my thesis.
But don't you need contrast? To have a good date, don't you need to know what a bad date is?
That's true. That's a good point. Well, so yes, so you're saying for the digital
But
natives, the millennials that will never have a bad
I'd
date.
like to date though.
Oh.
Yeah.
You asked a question. So.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying for the camera though.
Wait, ask it to me again.
Well, the contrast between a bad
Oh.
day and a good day, I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Well, you're gonna have bad first dates, but they'll be in virtual reality, right? So there's only 15 minutes of your time
Right.
you left, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I was so boring.
Yeah.
He didn't laugh at any of my jokes, and he made me feel terrible about something I said. Then I only spent 15 minutes with him in virtual reality, and I can say,
Yeah.
sayonara, I didn't have to waste 2 hours of my life pretending to be interested in what you were saying.
Because my kind of mind's off the record kind of thing, we can still film it, but like,
Yeah.
do you think that there is a part of all this online stuff that you can't really kind of predict, or like data won't give you? You just
Well, so
have
I
some
always
kind
say,
of like,
yeah, so I always say the
Right.
X Factor, I call it the X Factor, which is kind of a lame name, but like,
Sure, yeah.
it's sort of the in-person sparks, the chemistry, the like, is there something there that I want to, and that's really hard for dating.
You can't define it.
No, we don't, and we don't
Right.
try to say we can do that. I say, like,
Right.
when I did my presentation on the future of dating, is that we take all of the vetting for you and all of the qualification out of it, and then you tell us if there's X factor, right? You
Sure,
tell us if
yeah.
there's sparks, but you know that in 5 minutes. You don't need an hour and a half
Sure.
coffee date to know if there's X factor. So, like, why not pre-qualify that, and so that way every girl you go out with, you have some sort of sparks. Maybe there's more sparks with other girls, but there's still a spark there. So you kind of get rid of the dates that are
Yeah.
lackluster. It's a different game. It's a different
Completely.
game. It's like, and that's why a lot of people are upset about it, because they got really good at the bar game, and then everyone switched to the online game, and it's a game they haven't mastered. And I think it's really interesting because there's some people that are really mad, and I'm like, dude, it's a new game. Like, learn how to do
Sure,
it. You
yeah.
know, GMAT. I always say it's like you did GMAT. You know, you needed to get a certain score to get into business school, so you go and study and get that score, and you go into business school. So I always say the same about online dating. You know, you need to have good photos. You need to have like a pretty witty about me. Like, do the things, and you'll find success in online dating. But you can't do it half-ass.
No.
So I think that, and some people are reticent to kind of move into that because they were really good at the offline game, right? And so
Sure.
that's part of like the world changing, and I think like staying ahead of the curve instead of complaining that the world has changed. So I'm obviously very like pro tech
Sure, no, I think
efficiency,
it's
'cause I
great.
think
I think it's
personally it
brilliant,
saved me
yeah.
a ton of time
Sure,
that
yeah.
I can't imagine doing what I do as a CEO and
Yeah.
dating without dating apps. I wouldn't date. I would just have literally no dating life if I didn't have dating apps.
Is that true?
Yeah, I don't think nobody asks people out anymore. Even when I do go to events, it's not, you know, so it's purely like, it's the primary channel to meet other people
I
that are
disagree.
interested
I completely agree. Yeah,
in singles.
I'm
So
a
it's,
traditionalist. I always want to. I love to meet my person. You know, my future
yeah,
wife.
but why is that? I think that's interesting. Is that because that's how your parents met?
Culture. It's culture.
That's because how your
Movies.
parents met.
It is what my person. I
And
just
so
I think that
everyone-
sometimes you can't really explain. The best kind of love sometimes comes out of something you can't really explain. In terms of like science. Or
Like
things.
organic, an organic.
It's organic, yeah.
I don't think the way you meet should dictate what kind of love you have.
No, I just think that it's just kind of like.
So if I met
it's
through a
happened
friend at a
before.
dinner party, why is that better than meeting through an app? That
It's no better. I don't
connected
think it is better. So I just.
You just said what?
You
I
did.
didn't say better. I didn't use the word better. I didn't use the word better. Wind it back.
This is implied.
This is my point, is that there's a lot of people that sort of look down upon online dating and
I
be like,
don't- I
oh,
mean,
it's a
I-
less ideal way to
Right.
meet, and I'm actually on the total opposite side of the spectrum. I
Yeah.
think you can actually meet better people because you have way more supply, right? You're in, if you think about it as a mathematical calculation, there's, you know, dating's a funnel, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
if you put 2,000 people at the top of your funnel, your person that comes out the bottom, theoretically, is a much better match than if you put 20 people in the top of the funnel and you have one person, right? 1 out of 20 out, 1 out.
Sure.
So theoretically, your match is even more, you know, more compatible with you. And so I think
Right.
that's how I think about dating, is that I could theoretically meet my perfect person who lives in New York, whereas I would have never met that person. I would have never met that person if
Yeah.
I was
But
waiting
also-
for someone to
right.
ask me out at the bar local.
But also the thing you said earlier about kind of smell and the way people move and all that stuff. It's,
X
it's
factor.
important, right?
So that- and
I
that's-
could be set with my perfect.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
know, on paper.
Hold on, I gotta answer this.